everyone. May peace be on you all, and welcome to another episode of I'm a Muslim and That's Okay. And Ramadan is over. Well, by the time you guys will hear this recording, Ramadan will be over. It will be Eid day because Friday is Eid for us. And happy Eid to all my Muslim listeners. That's not how I started this podcast out. It was mostly meant for people who are not Muslims, but I have a significant number of Muslim listeners now too, and I thank you to them for listening in to me, and a happy Eid to all of them. And yeah, by the time this episode comes out, it will be Eid and the end of Ramadan. And I was like, dang, the month flew by. It always seems to fly by every single year. When we're starting out, we're tired and we're extra cranky, but it does pass by so fast. And I did my previous episode on, a little bit of Ramadan nostalgia because my kids had started fasting like regularly. I'm so proud of my babies. At least one of them did almost the entire month. And that one day he skipped out is because he was feeling a little iffy. And I was like, no, I'm not going to risk you getting sick. The only reason my younger one couldn't fast was because he was actually sick. He had a significant, a number of days with fever. So I was like, no, child, you are not fasting, even though he threw a bit of a fit for that. But no, that's not how that rolls. If you're, there's like a couple of conditions in which you're not supposed to be fasting. Being sick is one of them, on your period is the other. And if you're traveling, those are all the reasons why you should not be fasting. So I was like, no, child, you did your best. But when he got better, he's kept the rest of the fast. I'm so proud of them both. So, and basically, the last episode was a bit of a comparison about what it was like when I was growing up during Ramadan in a Muslim country and how different it is for them. And when I was having, one of those conversations with my kids about Ramadan, and the thing is, when kids are fasting, even though they want to fast, but by the end of the day, they're so worn out, the poor things. And I don't really tell them that, no, you have to last until sundown. But they do choose to really push themselves. Again, I'm really proud of them for that. And during one of those times, they get extra cranky. And one of them sort of asked me, is like, why do we have to fast? It's so hard. And this is one of those questions that does sort of pop up, especially for those who are not Muslims, that why are we fasting? And usually the standard answer is, which, I heard when I was growing up as well, is that we fast because it teaches us patience. And that's one of them, patience, self-control, all of those things are relevant. The other one is that it sort of clears us of worldly desires because we're resisting those worldly desires, and helps us become more spiritual when we are not just abstaining from eating and drinking, we're also abstaining from doing anything bad, anything, because that's part of the fast. It's not just that you're not eating and drinking, you're not supposed to be lying, gossiping, any number of really negative things you're not supposed to be doing. Just not eating and drinking and then having a temper or lying, that's not how the fast works. So those are two of the main reasons we sort of have for fasting. But when my kid asked me that, the answer that sort of came out of my mouth is that fasting teaches you that you have to keep going on even when things are hard. And that had never occurred to me before, but just because my kid asked me that in that, heated moment, it sort of came out. And I was like, that is also a thing, that it's sort of a training for that even when things are hard, you have to keep going on. You can't just give up just because it feels hard, that something feels hard. And it could, apply to any number of things. Situationally, we've all been there, that things are hard and you really, really want to give up. But it's at that point that you really got to push yourself just so you can reach the finish line. And I think that's one of those things that it sort of occurred to me that, yeah, Ramadan is a training for that too. Because by the end of the day, I'm not kidding. Like, we're all ready to give up. It's like the last 15 minutes are the hardest. I'm not even kidding. You've done like the 8 hours, but like last 15 minutes, like especially we're all counting down with the kids, it's harder for them. They're like, why is there 15 minutes left? Why is the time increasing? But that's also one of those things that happens because sunset also, the time increases every single day, especially when the days are getting longer by a minute or so. It's like, why does it increase every single day? The poor things. But that's the thing. It is one of those I think points about fasting. It's just that, yeah, you definitely, like, your worldly desires, all of those things, that gets put on pause. But I think it's a good lesson to have, that when things get hard, you just have to find it deep within yourself that just gotta keep going for a little while longer. And it is hard, but ultimately it's so worth it. So yeah, I think that was my big takeaway from this Ramadan. I got it from my kids. The first time my kids are fasting. So another lesson from my kids. But yeah, Ramadan is over and today is Eid, when this recording comes out. And most likely, that's what we do on Eid. We'll be doing our morning prayers. And for every single year, for the past 3 years, ever since I moved into a Muslim neighborhood, we moved during the pandemic, so we were not visiting one another. So what we did was we set up tables outside of our houses, and had different things on them. By standard, I'm always doing goodie bags, and other people have food and drink. So people pass by in our neighborhood and they can pick up either food or goodie bags. The kids love it, balloons, all those sort of things that we do. And that's what I've been prepping for the past week or so. Gosh, you'd be so surprised at the number of random things in my house, from like the goodie bags to the things that go in the bags, and just trying to keep it in one place and making sure the kids don't get into it. But it's always a great thing. And that's one of those things that is different over here. When I was growing up for Eid, we didn't have like a concept of goodie bags. We had the concept of money. I've discussed this before in a previous episode. In Pakistan especially, kids go around and they meet the elders and they're collecting money, and by the end of the day, everybody's comparing who's got the biggest loot. Obviously, it's always the older kids, because by default, the older kids got more money and the younger kids always got less money because of they're younger. So that's how it was. But over here in the US, I've noticed that the traditions are slightly different. I think some, especially from Pakistani backgrounds, they do give out money to especially kids who are from their family. But there is a big tradition of giving gifts. And that was new to me when I moved to the US. I saw lots of people giving gifts to their kids, and like for other kids that visit their homes, goodie bags is always an easy thing. Has all the things kids love, candy, small toys, little things that kids like. So that's the thing over here that Muslims do, and I think it's great, because I'm not gonna lie, money is great, but I think there is a particular joy when kids receive something that's something physical that they can see, touch, play with. And so, yeah, that's what I'll be doing today. My table's going to be all set out, and, goodie bags for all the kids that go through the neighborhood. But yeah, To everybody who is celebrating Eid, I hope you all have a good Eid. To everybody else, I mean, if you meet a Muslim, say happy Eid to us or come over to our house. We definitely have plenty of food and plenty of goodie bags to go around. And to everyone, happy Eid. And until next time, I have a great gift of the gab coming up. Y'all take care of yourself and may peace be on you all.